Glad to have you back, and we are on to the next one. Nigeria's health sector leaves a lot to be desired. Now, the sector is plagued with issues such as poor infrastructure, inadequate health facilities, lack of essential equipment, and many others.
Yes, indeed. Now, these challenges have all contributed to the failure of the sector to cater for the health needs of Nigerians, both at the rural and urban areas. Many have had to seek treatment abroad for ailments that could have been easily treated back home. But not all situations require a life-saving treatment abroad.
Indeed. Now, some of the affluent in the society have made such medical trips abroad a thing of status by going out for even the most minute symptom of illness. Now, it is on this note that the House of Representatives is seeking to regulate trips by public office holders to foreign countries for medical treatment.
Lawmakers say the measure, could or would force the same public officials to pay adequate attention to the health sector. The House is considering a bill for an act to amend the National Health Act 2014 to regulate international trips for medical treatment by public officers.
Indeed. Well, we have with us in the studio public affairs commentator Dwayne Johnson to talk to us about this. Good morning to you, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
You think this bill now is coming at the right time?
It's a very good bill that is coming at the right time, because when you look at the health sectors of Nigeria, is deteriorating. When you look at the way the hospitals are, they lack modern facilities. And when you look at the world, medical practitioners in the world of today, the best, some of the best in America are Nigerians. Likewise in UK, another part of the world. So why are we using our own resources, our human capital, our capacity to build a formidable health sector in the country for the other country? And our leaders, we pay each amount of millions of dollars to go and pay to treat themselves over there, which is not the best.
That seems to be the tragedy of the Nigerian narrative. When, for example, you hear that 70% of African-American or black doctors in the United States are actually Nigerians. But this bill, as interesting as it is, as encouraging as it is, then you hear the same representatives say, look, this bill will not bar those politically exposed persons or politicians or public office holders who can afford to get treatment abroad. So it's almost like a non-starter. I mean, you and I know that public office holders, where do they get all the money, from anyway in the first place?
Well, at the first instance, when you are working in an organization, you have your medical facility for a certain number, for a year.
Yeah.
Even when you get your appointment letter, there's going to be, how can I put it? On your appointment letter, there will be a certain amount of money allocated for your medical bill.
Yes.
So automatically, all the House of Reps too, the governors, all the public office holders, both public and civil servants, will surely have certain amount of money allocated to them. But I think this bill is coming at the right time. If the bill can escape through, it will help Nigerians a lot.
It's gone through second reading already.
Yeah, and then the sponsor of the bill, Sergius Osei made a statement that the public office holders are even abusing that act or in the Constitution. That he made a statement, let me quote verbatim, that these abuses are many on the pretext of fabricated medical conditions. That so it's not that they are always seeking for they travel to seek medical help. That many public office holders simply disappear from Nigeria and abdicate their duties for lengthy periods, while their emoluments are being paid for the period, and Nigeria is also footing the bill for their medical tours. So it's just easy money for them, both ways.
You see, when you talk of the major problem you have in this country is corruption. Once the system is wrong, the system has been bastardized. The 16 years of the party of yesterday was more or less like a total waste to the country. When they took power from the military in 1999 up to 2015, what have they been able to do on the anti-corruption war? The major problem of this country is corruption. Because when you look at the bill or the allocation to the legislators or any public officer, it might be unlimited. So some of them, it may be unlimited. Some of them may see it as an avenue to enrich themselves.
Because it's not even in public place.
Yeah, they may see it as an avenue to enrich themselves. You may have maybe just small, ordinary malaria and say you're having cancer, whatever, and you know what it takes to treat cancer in any part of the world. So automatically, they collide with the hospitals. Many Nigerians have hospitals abroad. Many Pakistanis have hospitals, to likewise Indian. They collide with them, maybe $20 million. The federal government will spend the money. They take their own shares. Everybody goes on their way.
Only last week, the Central Bank of Nigeria said it could not reveal the details of President Buhari's medicals abroad. And of course, the same sponsor of this bill, Osai Ziche, said it is only in Nigeria that you hear that the president's status of health or state of health cannot be revealed, and what it cost Nigerians or the taxpayer to take care of him, cannot be revealed.
On the health matter,
yes,
it's a personal problem, it's a personal issues.
Okay.
Let's be sincere, be factual to ourselves. It's now left.
So he does not owe Nigerians that information or the details of his health.
From malaria, is none of our business, to be sincere to ourselves. But we must be informed that our president is sick. He will not be available for so numbers of days.
Okay, should we know how much it costs the taxpayer to take care of him?
It's necessary
while he was away?
It's very, very necessary, we know.
Okay.
There is freedom of information. Automatically, the international community or whoever that want to know can make requests for such. But Mr. President has the power not to reveal the condition of his health as long as he still performs his national duty assignment. And when you look at the National Assembly, some of them are very good, who are working the cause and the assignment given to them by their community. We still have lots of Bajabi Amila from Southwest here. We have like a Ladosu Leja from the north. We have like a Tony Nwoye from the east. We have like Jimmy Benson from Lagos. We have Rotimi Agusoye. We have many of them like that, who are working for the betterment.
But that's from your point of view.
That's my point of view. So that's my own point of view. That I'll be following the activities.
Yes.
On the floor of the National Assembly. So many of them, they are working tirelessly.
They are earning their pay.
They are earning their pay, but at the same time, many of them don't even go to the plenary at all. Many of the legislators. So those who are pushing bills, who are making law.
But does that discountenance this bill really, that the fact that you're not close or something, because this is why they are representing
That's why they are representing us. The major problem we are having in this country is still corruption. If you can remember, some times ago, there was somebody was trying to move a bill, I think in one of the states, no work, no pay. So I don't see a reason why your people will send you to go and represent them. You spend 6 months abroad. You will not be able to be on the floor to know what is happening there.
Well, the point is, do their people even know, do their constituents even know that they're out of the country in the first place?
As far as this bill matter is, if the National Assembly can pass that bill, automatically it will bring a total transformation to our health sector.
Okay, but for example now, let's use the president again as an example. If passed and then the Senate ratifies it as well, you think that the president who enjoyed the treatment abroad will sign this bill, knowing that he could be affected since he goes abroad?
When we talk of treatment abroad, automatically it will be categorized. It will surely be categorized. There are some machines that we don't have in this country to diagnose somebody. But in the next few years...
Not because Nigeria cannot afford those machines, but because
of the corruption in that sector.
And shouldn't that be the focus? Because many expected President Muhammadu Buhari, when he came back from London to, for example,
take another look at the health sector.
And especially the Asura Clinic, which the wife of the president
drew attention to,
I said something earlier. The corruptions is the major problem.
Okay.
The country has been bastardized by some selected
It's at the root of everything. Now we have, I mean, when you hear people, respond to the issue or discuss this issue of medical tourism, a major concern is the socio-economic implications of this to Nigeria. But what about the security implication? When political leaders, governor, senator, president, has to rely on, healthcare abroad? If any country wants to take our president out, for example, wouldn't it be a lot easier to do?
I said something earlier. I said everything still falls back to corruption.
Do you understand my point?
Very much.
Okay.
Everything still falls back to corruption. One system has been bastardized. Automatically, is like a foundation. The foundation that was laid in 1999 up to 2015. Even sorry to say this, the man who is championing New Nigeria, whatever now, when he was there for 8 years, what did he do on the health sector?
Okay, since that foundation was not laid, Obasanjo, right? Since that foundation was not laid at that time, This government has had how many years
Government
now?
Is in continuum?
Is a continuum? 2015, this
Government
is 2018.
is a continuous project.
3 years. Is that foundation for Nigeria's health sector? Is it being laid right now?
When you look
based
at
on what you're seeing?
When you look at the party of the APC,
Yeah.
they have their manifestos. You see, when you look at Lagos, let me use Lagos as a case study.
Yeah.
When Tinubu was there, he worked so much on housing and education. When Fashola got there, he concentrated on the road constructions and education and health. Ambode is there now, he's working tirelessly on the rural development, education,
anyway,
transport sector, and also you know, government is a continuous exercise. Tinubu did his own, Fashola did his own. So this government automatically, maybe in the next 4 years, education, health might be the major where they're going to.
That's a constitutional clause. Maybe. You just said that, meaning that, and of course, many have talked about that. For any country to grow, really, to economically and then to be viable, to be seen as a leader, as a developed country, you have to get so many things right. Education, health sector is one of them, security. But then, if you talk about all these parameters, Nigeria is lagging. So what should be the focus now? Because like we are saying, you already said, maybe it would be the focus of the government.
There is no
assurance.
There is no how there will be a budget without a certain amount of money being allocated for education.
The allocation is very small, small as compared to other African countries.
Less than 7%.
There must be a certain amount of money allocated to the education, to health, to transport, to construct, and those stuff like that. You understand? But the major problem you have, I'm still saying it, the corruption has eaten deep into Nigerians.
Okay, so the political will to do the right thing, whether you're talking about health, education, infrastructure, is just not there. And you have a country like Ghana that's set aside about $300 million.
Ghana is becoming the signpost for
West
Africa,
really. It's amazing for this Echo Medical Hospital. And to think that Nigeria and Akwa Ibom actually had something similar, only for it to shut down within a space of 2 years.
Yes.
When you look at, there was a time they said the project was padded budget. Project was padding or something like that. You understand? I think I'm hearing that now for the first time in Nigeria, that it's only in Nigeria I've heard that the padded budget or this and that. You understand? The corruption is still the major issues. So automatically, for us to be able to transform the country, for us to be able to come to a better nation, for us to be able to actualize a better Nigeria, where you and I can access education free at the minimum expense, where you and I can walk to hospital and get ourselves treated, well diagnosed and given a good treatment, the sectors must be reformed.
But before getting, I was about to say that, before getting to the utopia, really, that's a desired destination many pray for and are hopeful of getting the country to. What should be done within the period, the vacuum that is being left right now? Sadly, Nigeria lost doctors in Ebonyi when they were exposed to a patient of Lassa fever, and the doctors had to protest. They took to the streets to protest because there is a lack of virology center in that state, and that is the example of other states in the country. And
don't forget, the health minister actually blamed the medical doctors for
not sticking to international standards.
You see,
and the same doctors have been crying themselves, no equipment, the environment to work is just not there, it's not conducive, the emoluments, nothing, it's just not encouraging, and you have droves of medical doctors living in Nigeria and nurses.
Brain drain.
Negligence, ignorance, nonchalant attitude, I don't care, are part of the major problem of almost all the sectors in the country. Negligence. When you look at Adadevo as a professional medical practitioner, it's a foul victim due to the negligence.
The woman who saved Nigeria from Ebola.
Are you there now? Yeah. Due to negligence. Negligence is a very powerful aspect. It's a very powerful crime to commit. If I'm to use the word crime, you understand? When you neglect, when you're supposed to be active, automatically it can take your life. Like what happened to Adadevo. So
was it negligence on how part?
It was negligence. Supposed to use hand glove as a professional doctor, but you know when they want to take your pulse, they're supposed to put hand glove. Normally, no matter the condition. I'm not a medical practitioner.
I doubt if you go to any clinic right now in Nigeria and you reported with a fever, that any medical doctor, or any nurse, or whoever that's attending to you would actually have gloves on.
Some do actually.
Or even, yes, some do. Very few.
That's why I said, when they want to check your pulse, they don't use ordinary
They want to check your temperature and all of that.
You understand? And they don't know the condition of your skin. So that's why I
remember the military hospital in Ikoyi, Awolowo Road in Ikoyi there. when Ebola broke out, as you drove in, I mean, they would use those things that look like gun to check your temperature from afar.
Yes.
But that has stopped now. And that's just an example. And I'm sure other teaching hospitals in Nigeria.
Almost all the offices in Nigeria are sanitizers. All of us have sanitizer in our bag. In my car, I put sanitizer before I shake anybody, I rub my hand. After 6 months, nobody uses
And talking about all
That's
this
the
now that we
point.
just talked about, yes, many would say that is the systemic failure. So that is what this bill wants to solve. If passed into law, really, what should be done as soon as possible?
The only thing that can be done to be able to put correction into it is not just about passing the law, implementing it, and attach a punishment to whoever that violates such law. That's the only thing we can be able to have a drastic development and better nation.
So you think that without putting punishment, kind of attaching it to the bill, it might not work in Nigeria?
Because corruption is still has eaten deep into Nigeria. As we are still saying, if a medical allowance of a legislator, as of rep member, as a case study, is $10 million, and as of September, he has not even spent $1,000 out of the money, he will find his way, one way or the other, to collide with the people in charge over there. They'll just work him on a medical stuff, you understand, to travel abroad so that he can be able to take the money. They will pay the money to his account.
All right, finally, do we have enough time to quickly throw this in? The federal government came up with a move to stop public health doctors from private practice. Do you think that is a law that should be allowed to scale through? And can you blame the doctors for, helping themselves elsewhere?
I can't blame you. The government really provides a enabling environment for them to be able to demonstrate their professionalism, for them to be able to save lives. The core of medical life is to save lives, not the money first. Absolutely. But when the facility, the environment, the circumstances did not really encourage them, they must be able to perform according to their professional call.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Doyin Johnson, thank you very much for discussing this issue with us this morning. Of course, the debate does not end there. It's costing Nigeria a whole lot, $1 billion every year.
Or more.